Adolf Hitler, one of history's most notorious figures, was born in Austria in 1889. Growing up in a tumultuous family, young Adolf faced an often unkind world. His early dreams of becoming an artist offered a fleeting glimpse into a different life. However, after being rejected by art academies, seeds of resentment and ambition were sown. Exploring his formative years is crucial to understanding how these experiences shaped his worldview. The tumultuous environment of his childhood, coupled with thwarted aspirations, set the stage for a path that veered from creativity to destruction. In these early chapters, we see the roots of a personality driven by dreams and disillusionment. Understanding Hitler's beginnings is key to comprehending the complexities of his ideology and later actions. This foundation not only influenced his personal ambitions, but also foreshadowed the dark path he would eventually take. As we explore further, we'll witness how these experiences laid the groundwork for his rise to power and the catastrophic impact that followed. In the crucible of World War I, Adolf Hitler found the catalyst for his burgeoning ideology. Serving as a soldier, he witnessed devastation and chaos firsthand, experiences that would forever alter his worldview. The war was not just a backdrop, but a profound influence, planting seeds of resentment and a fervent desire for Germany's resurgence. He felt the nation had been unjustly defeated, which deepened his resolve. Amidst this turmoil, Hitler's thoughts began to crystallize. He saw opportunity in the widespread discontent. Aligning his ambitions with the national mood of revival, the socio-political climate of post-war Germany, a landscape marred by inflation, unemployment, and fractured governance, provided fertile ground for his ideas to take root. Here, Hitler's vision for a new Germany began to form, propelling him to political prominence. As we explore these pivotal moments, it's crucial to understand how they set the stage for his eventual rise to power. Next, we'll delve into the formation of the Nazi Party and how Hitler's ideology captivated a nation yearning for change. In the early 1920s, Adolf Hitler co-founded the Nazi Party, a political force that would soon cast a dark shadow over Germany and the world. Fueled by extreme nationalism and anti-Semitism, the Nazi ideology took root in a nation still reeling from World War I. With his charismatic oratory and strategic manipulation of public sentiment, Hitler attracted a growing following among the disillusioned masses. This was a time of great unrest and uncertainty, where the promise of renewed national pride resonated deeply with those who felt betrayed by the post-war settlement. Hitler's vision was not merely political. It was a radical reimagining of society that sought to elevate one race above all others, dismissing basic human rights and dignity. His influence spread like wildfire, igniting a dangerous movement that threatened to alter the course of history. As Germany grappled with economic hardship and political instability, many saw Hitler as a beacon of hope, unaware of the catastrophic future his leadership would bring. This segment marks the beginning of an era defined by perilous ideologies, leading us to the next chapter, Hitler's coup attempt and subsequent imprisonment. In November 1923, a pivotal moment unfolded in Munich. Hitler and his followers staged the infamous Beer Hall Putsch, a failed coup attempt to overthrow the Weimar Republic. This audacious move resulted in Hitler's arrest and subsequent imprisonment. Yet, this setback proved crucial. During his time behind bars, Hitler authored Mein Kampf, articulating his vision for Germany's future and laying the ideological foundation for the Nazi movement. This period of reflection and writing became a stepping stone in his quest for power. Recognizing the need for a strategic shift, Hitler decided to pursue political influence through more legitimate means upon his release. This transformation marked a new chapter in his rise, showcasing how setbacks can serve as catalysts for change. As we transition to the next segment, we will witness how these strategic adaptations led to Hitler's eventual ascension to power, setting the stage for a regime that would alter the course of history. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the unfolding narrative of ambition, ideology, and the relentless pursuit of control. By 1933, Adolf Hitler had ascended to the position of Chancellor of Germany, marking the beginning of a new era. Seizing this opportunity, he swiftly moved to establish a totalitarian regime, manipulating public opinion through masterful propaganda. This strategic consolidation of power was not just political, but also economic and military. Hitler's government launched sweeping reforms aimed at reviving Germany's economy and bolstering its military might, preparing the nation for future conflicts. Under his leadership, the Nazi regime tightened its grip on every aspect of German life, creating a climate of fear and absolute control. The vision was clear: a unified, powerful Germany under Nazi ideology. Through cunning strategies and relentless ambition, Hitler's influence grew, reshaping Germany and setting the stage for global upheaval. As we delve deeper into this period, we see the chilling efficiency with which power can be wielded and the dire consequences that follow. This segment illustrates how quickly control can be seized and the far-reaching impacts of such dominance. The next chapter will delve into the implementation of anti-Semitic policies and the horrific beginning of the Holocaust. As the Nazi regime tightened its grip, a chilling doctrine of anti-Semitism took center stage. The infamous Nuremberg Laws of 1935 stripped Jews of their rights, marking the beginning of an era defined by systemic persecution. Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass, in 1938, signaled a terrifying escalation. Synagogues burned, businesses were destroyed, and lives were shattered as the world witnessed the brutality of unchecked hatred. It was a prelude to the unspeakable horrors that followed, the Holocaust. A calculated campaign of genocide that would claim the lives of 6 million Jews. This was not merely an act of war, but a methodical plan to eradicate an entire people. The world stood on the precipice of a moral abyss as Hitler's vision of a pure society spiraled into a nightmare of unimaginable cruelty. Each decree, each act of violence, was a step toward the abyss. Yet, in understanding this dark chapter, we find lessons in vigilance and the dire consequences of indifference. As we transition to the war's unfolding chaos, remember, history's weight is heavy, and its lessons are profound. The year was 1939. As dawn broke over Europe, an ominous shadow cast by Adolf Hitler's ambitions loomed large. With a calculated strike, the invasion of Poland marked the onset of World War II, an era defined by unprecedented aggression and military might. Hitler's forces surged forward, achieving rapid victories in the early stages, fueled by his ruthless strategy and formidable propaganda machine. Yet, beneath this veneer of success lay the seeds of overreach and miscalculation. Strategic decisions, bold and reckless, underscored his military leadership. The swift conquests of France and the Low Countries showcased his tactical prowess, but the audacity soon gave way to hubris. As battles raged across Europe, Hitler's initial triumphs were gradually eclipsed by grave strategic errors. The invasion of the Soviet Union, meant to be a decisive blow, instead became a costly quagmire. With each misstep, cracks in his grand design began to appear, setting the stage for a dramatic shift in the war's tides. The relentless advance of Allied forces loomed on the horizon, signaling a turning point yet to come. And as Europe stood on the brink of transformation, Hitler's empire teetered on the edge of collapse. The Battle of Stalingrad was a pivotal moment, marking the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany's ambitions. Hitler's overconfidence led to strategic blunders that unraveled his war efforts. As the harsh Russian winter set in, the German army found itself ill-prepared and stretched too thin. The Allied forces seized this opportunity, launching a series of counterattacks that would push back the German front. Internal dissent grew within the ranks, as even Hitler's closest advisors questioned his decisions. The once formidable Nazi war machine began to crumble under the weight of its own hubris and relentless Allied pressure. Across Europe, resistance movements gained momentum, emboldened by the shifting tides of war. With each passing day, Hitler's grip on power weakened, and the cracks in his regime became more pronounced. The Allies continued to advance, strategically outmaneuvering the Germans at every turn. These critical mistakes and miscalculations exposed deep flaws in Hitler's strategies, marking a turning point in World War II. As we move forward, we will see how these errors led to the eventual collapse of the Third Reich, setting the stage for the final chapter in this tragic saga of ambition and downfall. In the final chapters of the Nazi regime, the Allies launched a relentless advance into Germany. The once formidable Third Reich crumbled under the weight of its own tyranny. As Berlin stood on the brink of collapse, Hitler retreated into his bunker, facing the inevitable end. His suicide marked not only the fall of a dictator, but the liberation of a world held in terror. The city of Berlin, now a symbol of shattered dreams and destructive ambitions, witnessed the closing act of World War II. With the Allied forces marching victoriously through its streets, the Nazi regime's reign of terror came to an undeniable halt. This was not just the end of a regime, it was a moment of reckoning for a world scarred by war and genocide. As we reflect on this period, it is essential to remember the lessons learned and ensure that such tyranny never rises again. With Berlin's fall, history turned a page, paving the way for reconciliation and peace. In the aftermath, we are reminded that understanding our past is vital to shaping a future free from such darkness. Next, we explore the legacy left behind and the indelible mark on history that continues to teach us today. As we reach the conclusion of this journey through history, we're reminded of the profound impact Adolf Hitler's regime had on the world. Survivor testimonies and accounts of war devastation paint a vivid picture of the suffering endured. These voices, echoing through time, urge us to never forget the horrors inflicted. This reflection not only honors those who suffered, but also serves as a crucial lesson for future generations. It compels us to examine the darkest chapters of our past to ensure they are never repeated. By understanding the psychological and social factors that fueled Hitler's ideology, we gain insights into preventing similar tragedies. The story of Hitler is more than a historical narrative. It is a solemn reminder of the consequences of unchecked power and hatred. In remembering these lessons, we hold the key to building a brighter, more compassionate future for all. Adolf Hitler's life led to one of the greatest tragedies in human history. Understanding his story is critical to learning from the past and building a brighter future. Let us carry these lessons forward with the hope that history will guide us towards peace and understanding.